Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be talking about what was easily my most anticipated movie of 2026, and that is Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Before I continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It's a great help. Christopher Nolan is my favorite film director, followed only by Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I know, film fan likes Christopher Nolan, fork found in kitchen. But no other filmmaker makes movies that make me feel the way that Nolan's films do. After his masterpiece Oppenheimer deservedly won all of the awards and made nearly $1 billion, I was pretty much down for whatever he was going to cook up next. And then it was announced that he was going to be making a massive epic fantasy by adapting Homer's The Odyssey. This was immediately one of the most exciting things that he could have been working on to me. It was Nolan stepping out of his comfort zone of the normal science fiction or historical epics like Oppenheimer and Dunkirk by making an old school type fantasy movie. It made my mind race with possibilities. How would he manage the visual effects? How deep would he go into the fantastical? Everything had so much potential in my mind, and it was obviously going to be the film I was most excited for this year, even above stuff like Dune Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday. With all that said, I'm gonna stop beating around the bush and just say it. The Odyssey is a cinematic masterpiece. Oh my god, this movie, dude. Let me just get out all of the buzzwords that will definitely have the grifters and their parrots call me a shill because they can't seem to come up with any other insult to people who love this movie. This film is massive. It's epic. It's huge in scale. It spares absolutely no expense visually. It's wildly entertaining and intense. Yet, it's also a deeply human and intimate story of guilt and redemption. It's truly a feat of filmmaking that left me breathless and utterly stunned for pretty much the entire runtime. When the credits started rolling, I just had to sit in my seat for a few minutes and just let the experience wash over me. It's overwhelming in the best way possible. This is a film that reminds us why going to a theater is the definitive way to see a movie. I highly urge everyone to see The Odyssey in IMAX. It doesn't matter if it's a LIMAX, a normal 143 IMAX, or a 70mm IMAX. Just see it in IMAX no matter what. However, that said, I would definitely best recommend 70mm IMAX, as it is the format in which every frame of this movie was filmed, and it is well worth the experience. The theater I typically go to for IMAX screenings was one of the lucky few theaters that got a brand new 70mm projector this year, and the difference between what was the previous LIMAX experience that I was used to and a true massive full screen projected IMAX is night and day, despite them both being excellent movie-going experiences. There isn't a single frame of the Odyssey that feels fake, and everything feels authentic. Sure, you could criticize maybe the historical accuracy of the costumes or boats, but it feels authentic to the experience Christopher Nolan is crafting. It never cheats your immersion, nor does it treat the audience like they're stupid, despite it being one of Nolan's more accessible films. Every big set piece manages to top the previous one, and it never slows down for the entire nearly 3-hour runtime, and it culminates in a truly spectacular third act that is one of the most immensely satisfying finales I've seen in a long time. The Cyclops Polyphemus, or Polyphemus, I've heard it pronounced both ways, I'm not sure, is genuinely terrifying and blew my mind on how Nolan was able to capture this creature almost entirely practically. I couldn't tell when the massive puppet they built was used or the man in the makeup was on screen, but it was seamless. I'm sure there's some CG in there somewhere, but I didn't notice any of it. The Circe sequence is for sure going to be a standout for a lot of people due to its grotesque and rather uncomfortable body horror, as well as Samantha Morton's incredible single scene performance. I really hope that Nolan does a horror film in the future because he has shown that he clearly has the skill for it with these sequences, and he uses the horror of these moments to really ground the fantastical elements in his signature, more practical fashion. Okay, so I've praised the epic nature of the Odyssey, the amazing visuals, and overall experience of film going, but how is the movie as a story? Well, that's what makes the Odyssey a masterpiece. This is one of Christopher Nolan's strongest scripts, and that's saying something because he was either the prime writer or co-writer on Memento, Interstellar, and Oppenheimer. This film truly captures and recognizes the thematic resonance that has made the story of Odysseus so long-lasting, a story of hubris, perseverance, guilt, and ultimately redemption. The vast nature of this movie only makes the storytelling better. It makes you feel the desperation of Odysseus and his crew. It makes you feel all of the pain and suffering he goes through. You can see the dirt and grime on people's faces and clothes. and the exhaustion is really palpable. It is a deeply human story and really reflects back on the consequences of our actions as well as guilt that can come from it. With films like Inception and Oppenheimer, Nolan has made movies where the protagonist's journey is learning to find themselves while exploring their guilt and regret, and it's not much different here. Here, Odysseus is living in a world that is fundamentally changed by his actions in Troy. He feels guilt over breaking the prime law, Zeus's law, and finding himself at a crossroads where he doesn't know if he's even worthy to return home to Ithaca, or if it will even feel like home after breaking the primary law he was so devoted to before the Trojan War. In many ways, his long journey home is his punishment for his actions in Troy. All of that pain and suffering is what makes his decisions in the third act feel so earned and so satisfying to watch. The final act of this film pays off and recontextualizes so much of this movie. I haven't seen a film finale this straight up satisfying in a long time. My audience was quite reactive to many moments throughout the final 40 minutes or so. The excellent storytelling and writing is backed up by a ton of amazing acting performances. Tom Holland is great as Telemachus, Anne Hathaway is for sure going to be high in the running for Best Supporting Actress this year, as she is one of the main hearts of the film. Robert Pattinson, like usual, steals every scene he's in as a delightfully hateable and sniveling antagonist. John Leguizamo really surprised me with his fantastic performance. It's probably his best ever. I've already mentioned Samantha Morton's performance as Cersei, but she's an absolute scene stealer. Lupita Nyong'o and Elliot Page are very good in their small roles. And no, I'm not going to talk about the controversy about their casting, other than the fact that if you have an issue with either of them, you're probably uninformed or just a moron. This has been one of the most ridiculous and useless culture war garbage things in a long time. I'm so happy this film is so highly praised and it's going to make a lot of money, so these bozos are forced to eat crow. Anyway, all of these excellent performances are just to accentuate how incredible Matt Damon is as Odysseus. He carries this story with so much weight and subtlety, it will for sure be in the running for Best Actor this year. The deeply human story and performances ground this film and make it feel so authentic, despite all of the crazy fantastical elements like the sirens, the Scylla, Polyphemus, and the gods. This is a movie that I fully expected to love, but I did not expect to be so deeply moved by it. Odysseus's arc really resonates, especially with some particularly emotional moments in the final third that actually brought some tears out of me. Maybe not full-on crying, but it got me emotionally. And without getting too into spoilers, there's a reveal about the nature of Zendaya's role as Athena that sent shivers down my spine. If I had any criticisms of this film, they would pretty much just be nitpicks. I guess I wish the Scylla had a bit more of an interesting design and was on the screen longer. There's some editing choices in the first 20 minutes or so that take a bit to get used to, but I can also see this not being an issue at all on subsequent viewings. I didn't have a problem at all with the sound mixing like I know a lot of people have with Nolan's films as of lately. That's about it. I think The Odyssey is one of Christopher Nolan's absolute best movies and is a true cinematic masterpiece. It is now my favorite movie of the year, even above Project Hail Mary. I suspect Dune Part 3 will be just as good. Speaking of which, the prologue played before the 70mm IMAX showing, and it is a perfect appetizer of sheer epic filmmaking before seeing The Odyssey. All I know is that to take over The Odyssey as the best film of the year, it's going to be a very tall task. But for now, we have another Tom Holland, Jon Bernthal, and Zendaya film in less than 2 weeks with Spider-Man Brand New Day, of which I am also insanely excited for. Remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like, as it's a great help to the channel. Also feel free to check out my Letterboxd, where I'm very active and I post many reviews of many types of movies there. I hope you all enjoy The Odyssey. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Just don't bring your culture war garbage if you disagree with me. I have no patience for that nonsense. Okay, bye.
If it is to be said, so it is.